beer, it's good for you. I'm empty-handed and I'm feeling blue, and I'm gonna drink till the day that I die.
Hello and welcome to the video. In this video we'll be discussing beer balance according to alcohol and bitterness. I will explain what it all means, how to reference it and how to apply it in brewing calculators. So you may have noticed in my recipe writing videos that I often talk about BU-GU ratios for styles. This can also be shown as IBU over SG, and this jargon is simply as follows. So on both sides here we simply have a ratio between bitterness, referred to as IBU or BU, and alcohol, described as either gravity units or specific gravity. It all means the same thing, and I always refer to this as the BU-GU ratio. As an equation, BU-GU ratio is the IBUs divided by the gravity units. More on this later. There are charts all over the internet giving BU-GU ratio guidelines for different beer styles. Just Google BU-GU ratio chart and you will see many like this one. So here on screen I have Beersmith open with a quickly made up recipe. Yes, I know this is a low alcohol for an American IPA, but this is not actually a real beer recipe, it's merely an example. Beersmith uses the IBU over SG measurement as highlighted on screen now. You will find that pretty much most brewing software has this ratio in one way or another, even the free ones. You can also see, as indicated here, that we have an estimated original gravity of 1.050 and bitterness of 43 IBU, giving us a ratio of 0.860, which is essentially 43, the IBU, divided by 50, the gravity. The BU-GU ratio suggested for an American IPA is 0.84. So as you can see, we need to adjust a small amount here. So looking at this quickly, I can see that I need to change the IBU to 42 to get the right BU-GU ratio. It is simply a case of arithmetic, but if this is not your strong point, do not worry. Just tweak the IBU figure until you hit your target. You can now see in this example that we have an IBU of 42, which gives us an on-target BU-GU ratio of 0.84. This of course can work both ways, but I always feel that it is better to decide what alcohol level you want first, and then build the ratio around that. Up to you though, of course. BU-GU ratios are actually a very useful way to nail down beers for your own taste. Just because a chart tells you a suggested ratio does not mean that this will actually suit everybody. Take for an example if you try a new recipe and find that it was not according to your taste. Perhaps it was simply too bitter. You can look back at the BU-GU ratio and tweak it to a new level to see how this sits on your taste palette instead. Breweries will have lots of testing of new and existing beer lines to see if the ratio can be tweaked so that more people will enjoy it. This is a never-ending process. Do keep in mind though that there are also some other variables that can have an impact on a beer's bitterness. Firstly, this can be mistakes like using sparge water that is too hot or mashing grain at too high a temperature. Bitterness can also come from that brown stuff you see left behind by your yeast after a fermentation. If you stir this into your beer, then you will really wish you had not. You can also get a perceived bitterness that is left behind by 0-minute hops and dry hops, that to start with will be perceived as bitterness, but after some time it will simply drop out. It will change so gradually though that you may not even notice it, especially if you're enjoying one of these a day. There is also the attenuation rate of your yeast that plays a factor here. The more a yeast attenuates or eats the sugar of your wort, the less residual sweetness you will taste. This will also have an effect on the perceived level of bitterness. On the Mild Alchemist website they have a relative bitterness ratio calculator that looks at this further. Here is a link for your interest. For some people changing yeast and staying with regular BU-GU ratios for a style, this can be an answer. For some, it will be a combination of all the previous things that we have discussed here. I suggest that you try it all. Personally, I really enjoy the amount of testing that is involved in brewing in the pursuit of the desired result. You never know, you may enjoy it also. You won't know until you try, as they say. So this now wraps up this easy guide. The aim of these videos is to empower the brewer to enhance their brewing and finished beers. So if you have any questions, then please do ask me via YouTube or Facebook. I do hope that you found this guide useful, interesting and enjoyable. So if you did like this video, then please do like it on YouTube. This really helps me out and allows the videos to be seen by a wider audience on YouTube. I have always got a lot of new videos planned for the future, so if you are interested in seeing my new content, then please subscribe for future content. If you have any questions on anything that I have covered in this video or any other video, then please do not hesitate to get in touch with me via YouTube or Facebook. I'm a member of pretty much every Grainfather Facebook group and more. Happy brewing!